make people do right by you, but you can decide how often you let them do you wrong, and you keep letting them do you wrong. You feel horrible. You are never secure, you're never happy, and you continue to choose it because you're too afraid to take that move. And let me tell you something. If you're afraid you just can't get another dude, because I know the market's tight, I get that part. But if you're afraid you'll never get another dude, isn't it better to be happy and whole and feel good about yourself by yourself than it is to feel low and degraded and unloved with another dude? You do not need a man to define you. A man should be an option, not a definition. You with me?
Very, very powerful message. And unfortunately, it happens a lot more than we would like to admit, that people stay in relationships even though they're being mistreated. In my opinion, a lot of this is attributed to lack of experience and lack of confidence, especially as it pertains to women. When it comes to being a woman, a lot of women transition from their father's home to that of their husband, never taking an opportunity to build their own confidence, build their own experience, to really learn about the world on their own. So in a sense, they kind of go from having one father to having another, and the same means of care and so on and so forth. So when you're having trouble in a relationship and it turns toxic, or it turns into a situation to where it's taking more from you than it's giving, you will rationalize your reasons for staying. And unfortunately, those rationalizations typically stem from the fear of not knowing what happens after this. You don't know if you'll make it on your own. You seriously doubt your ability to make it on your own. And since you have transitioned from your father's house to your husband's house, a lot of that confidence has been, in a sense, or it's just 100% absent from your life. So you tend to rationalize, you tend to blame yourself, you tend to be more willing to put up with things you wouldn't ordinarily put up with if you knew you could build for yourself, if you knew you could stand on your own 2 feet, if you knew you could be the woman that you perhaps aspire to be. But because that experience is lacking, it tends to turn into a series of rationalizations, and even rationalizations to your friends and family that you're trying to make it work, when in reality, you're running from growing up. You're running from being pushed outside your comfort zone. You're running from the idea that being attached to this care, this stability, this not needing to know what the world has to offer, the pros and cons, the good and the bad of life, has been, in a sense, halted by your ability to maintain a relationship with this person. And you're afraid of how you will navigate your life without someone there to, in a sense, tell you how it's supposed to go, show you the way. And I come from a place where I am an advocate for leaving home and taking a couple of years for yourself to be out on your own, because it's a very big confidence builder. It helps you establish what you like and what you don't like. And it's a lot easier to draw the line and develop boundaries and understand that you don't want a person to push past a certain point. But when you skip those steps, you lack a lot of confidence in voicing your opinion. You lack confidence in your ability to maintain and be consistent with consequences that are in relation to those boundaries being stepped over. And it really does hinder your ability to have discipline in your relationship and speak to what you say, because you always go back to the idea of, what am I prepared to do if the envelope is pushed, if the line is pushed back, if I'm being pressed, if I'm being tested. And you understand that because of your fear, because you don't want to start over, because of all these reasons that have nothing to do with the ultimate question or the answer to the question, do you want out? It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. And when you make your life contingent on having a plan, you won't do it. You will always stay and you will rationalize being put through a horrible experience. So you have to be able to sustain yourself. So when you get into these relationships, when you're being subjected to a treatment that you don't want to be subjected to, when you're having conversations that don't look like they're improving, when you're in a situation that you want to change and they decided that they're not going to change, you have the ability to do for yourself what you need to do for yourself. And it's important for you to have the confidence and the ability to do so. Really think about it. We hinder ourselves and we like to unfortunately rationalize our trauma and point the finger at other people, and we really don't realize how much we typically cause our own trauma and then hold ourselves in that traumatized position, blaming other people for our misery. As easily as you can decide you want out, you can decide to take the steps to go in that direction. You have to want it and you have to go after it, but it's going to take confidence. And if you're not willing to build that confidence within yourself, unfortunately, it's going to be an uphill battle because it's lacking, and it's very necessary for you to push yourself outside your comfort zone, and you're running from that experience, but it needs to be had so you're not in this position again. You don't want to relive this. At the end of the day, a person is not your defining factor. They are an asset to your life, not the definition of who you are. And you have to know the difference if you're going to be in a relationship, because one is going to break you down and confine you to a life that you perhaps did not sign up for, while the other, you are very sure that this is what you want, and you understand that if for any reason it goes outside of that, you are prepared to stand on your own 2 feet. But if you don't create that for yourself, if you don't build that for yourself, how will you know that you can do it and that you even have more choices available to yourself than ever before? You won't know. So build your confidence. Really understand why you're in this relationship. You want to be in a relationship because you want to be, not because you need to be. Peace.